Tired of work. I gotta get rich. I'm sick and tired of coming up to this.
Hey y'all, in today's video we're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde and why I love it, and hopefully by the end of this video you will be inspired to love it as well. Mercury retrograde gets a really bad rep, and understandably so, because we have to be extra careful, like when we're traveling, signing contracts, going back to the past and fooling around with people that don't mean us well. We have to be careful with repeating the same mistakes, arguments, and just a whole slew of other things. So understandably so, it does get a bad rep. But really quick, I just want to tell you all why I actually look forward to the retrograde, or Mercury retrograde in particular, in hopes of inspiring you all to view it the same. Hello everyone, welcome to the Obelisk Lounge. My name is Justice, and thanks for tuning into my channel. I'm a spiritualist and a diviner who helps people to understand and connect with their purpose, to activate their unique spiritual talents in order to help you all live a more liberated, intentional, and evolved life, so that you don't have to come back to Earth, okay? Unless you want to come back here, or unless you have to come back here, because some of us will, okay? I'm not. This is my last hurrah, but some of us might have to go ahead and come back to this thing. But anywho, let's go ahead and move along with the topic of the video. So, as you all know, Mercury retrograde is a planetary event where Mercury appears to move backwards in its orbit from our perspective here on Earth. In astrology, Mercury rules communication, travel, technology, and decision making. So when it goes retrograde, or when it's going in reverse, these areas can feel very chaotic, okay? Which, that chaos leads to miscommunications, delays, tech glitches. I actually just had a tech glitch with my internet while recording this video, but obviously I was able to get it fixed because here you are viewing the video. But it leads to tech glitches and just misunderstandings in all themes of that nature. However, I have learned over the years that Mercury retrograde is a very powerful time for reflection, revisiting past issues, and making the necessary adjustments. Whenever there is a Mercury retrograde happening, I always find myself growing and expanding leaps and bounds. Like, the results of the shadow work that I get done and the revelations that come to me as a result of the retrograde, or the Mercury retrograde in particular, is very stellar and it's out of this world. So I'm gonna share just two examples, and I ain't gonna tell y'all all my business, but I am gonna share two examples to hopefully inspire you to reflect on, in what ways Mercury retrograde has helped you or is helping you in this season. Because as you know, it's Saturday, March 15th when I'm recording this. So it's gonna be here, I want to say, for like what, 3 weeks, plus the shadow period. So yeah. Now, as you all know, Mercury retrograde in particular is, all the planets go retrograde, but Mercury retrograde is the most popular in mainstream. And it's because, a lot of the times we like to, as humans, we really like to have something to blame for life's mishaps. And Mercury, being the planet that it is, it is responsible for our everyday interactions. So its retrograde effects are very noticeable. So like, notice, missed calls and texts, notice, your travel mishaps, and other like computer crashes, and just arguments out of nowhere and different things like that. So the impact that Mercury does have on us in retrograde is very noticeable. And so it's easy to use Mercury retrograde as a scapegoat for any, inconveniences, minor or major, that it is that we experience during this time frame. But the truth is, Mercury retrograde isn't out to get you. It isn't out to, invoke all of this fear in you. It's an opportunity for us to slow down, to reassess, and to realign, rather than it being a period of unavoidable disaster, or impending doom, And I like Mercury retrograde. I actually look forward to it because every retrograde, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, it helps me to really level up, like it really does. Like yesterday, before it officially started, but we're in its shadow, it revealed a business oversight that I had been putting off for the past few years. And unfortunately, that oversight is going to cost me just like a little bit, but thankfully I caught it earlier enough to be able to handle it and just go ahead and move on. It's not anything that's that big of a deal, but it's something that could turn into a big deal if I continue to ignore this thing, or just put it off. But thankfully, retrogrades are for tying up loose ends, so I give thanks. The second story that I have, or example rather, of a retrograde being beneficial is from a few years ago when I was a special educator. I had struggled with leaving my job. I was going back and forth because, I mean, as you all know, education is not an easy. It's not always an easy world for people, or really any job that causes stress, anxiety, and chaos. It's really not a good job for anyone to stay in.
I'm sick and tired of coming up to this bitch. I'm sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of working, sick of working, tired of coming in early and going home late. A 8-hour shift with a 30-minute break. I was glad for the first day, can't wait for.
But I felt responsible for my students and, of course, my colleagues as well, wanting to support them because education is already a world where, you know, you're short staffed and things like that. So I was like, oh, you know, I really want to make sure that I'm there to support, you know, the education and the, you know, of my students, but then also to support my colleagues as well. And so after that back and forth, I decided to go ahead and stay for another full year. Going into the school year, I had prayed for perfect peace, harmony, you know, let this, you know, be a great school year, let it be, you know, my last school year, blah, 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 and different things like that, so that I can go ahead and transition into another career arena. And because things had been going so well, of course, I'm like, well, you know what? I can go ahead and do this for another year or two. You know, things are really going good. I think everything is Gucci now. You know, I'm going to go ahead and thug it out for another year or two. And right when I made that decision, y'all, right when I made that decision, all hell literally broke loose. And mind you, this was during the Mercury retrograde. I had decided to go ahead and stay for like another year or two, and then instead of going ahead and following through with my other plans and leaving and transitioning into another career arena, and right when I made that decision, literally all hell broke loose. And the hell that broke loose, you know, wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but it was just stuff that I really did not want to deal with and put up with anymore because I was just unhappy. And so, but with that chaos ensuing, it really was a clear reminder of like, girl, you're not supposed to be here that long. Like, you're literally getting off of your path. This was literally just a pit stop. This was not a vacation. This was not forever. 1 to 2 years is 1 to 2 years too long off of your path. And so that particular Mercury retrograde forced me to face the truth. I wasn't meant to be there anymore. And so I had prayed for peace. And once I had it, I got comfortable, you know, which is something that we often do when in any situation, not just in a job, but it can be in relationships. It can be, you know, in a behavior. It could be in a new habit that it is that you want to develop, you know, like you get comfortable in that thinking, oh, you know, I don't have to do X, Y, Z, or oh, you know, I don't have to count my calories anymore. You know, I can just eyeball, you know, this serving, or oh, you know, we aren't arguing anymore. You know, things are better. A lot of the times in life, and I know most people, all 5 or 10 of y'all that watch this video can relate, that a lot of times in life, you know, we tend to outstay our welcome, whether it's outstaying our welcome in a religion, outstaying our welcome in a, you know, in a behavior pattern or a habit that it is that we have, outstaying our welcome at these jobs, in relationships, in whatever area or capacity or condition in life. All of us can relate to outstaying our welcome in a situation. And that is the beauty and the gift of the retrogrades. A lot of the times when we outstay our welcome in any situation in life, when it's time for us to go, shit get rocky. Like, things can get very chaotic, things can get very out of control, and not to necessarily cause disaster all the time, but to motivate us to move, to motivate us to get out of the way and to get back aligned with what it is that we need to be doing, who it is we need to be around, you know? So the moral of the story is retrogrades aren't here to ruin you. They aren't here to strike fear in you, or this Mercury retrograde or Mercury retrogrades in particular. You know, they are not here to strike fear in you, and you shouldn't fear them. You should welcome them with grace and with open arms, because they're here to help realign you. They expose what needs to be fixed in your life so that you can grow and evolve, because that's what we here for, ain't it? We here to grow, evolve, and have a little bit of fun along the way. If you're always fighting the retrogrades, you're also fighting your own evolution. So instead of stressing about it or being fearful of it, be open to shifting your perspective and looking at the silver lining of the situation. And I'm not saying this, you know, as a toxic positivity trope. Like, you don't have to love the process. You don't have to love it. You can be frustrated. You can be annoyed. You can be irritated and angry at any inconvenience or any, you know, chaos, you know, that does erupt. Like, it's okay to have those feelings. And at the same time, you can also use your good sense, use your good head to look at it from a higher perspective and to take your power back. And I say all of that to drive home that fast forward 2 years later, life is good, life is peaceful. I am so happy that I did not stay in the education world for another year or two. OMG, I'm so happy I did not do that, because I had outgrown that place, and the retrograde had shown me that I had outgrew it. And so I say all of that to say, what things have you outgrown? What things are coming up this retrograde that's showing you that you need to pay closer attention to, that you need to revise, that you need to improve, that you need to go back and check, or that you've outgrown? And be open to chartering a new path. It's 3333, as I said that on my recording, but like, well, what was I saying? Oh yeah, stop and take advantage of that. And so instead of, you know, waiting for the universe to conspire in your favor, you conspire in your own favor every day in every way, because you have the power to change it.
Power is yours.
So with love, use these retrogrades to clean up your life, to tie up loose ends, to get back on track, and to stay in alignment. And so that's pretty much all I have for this video. Comment down below, you know, what are interesting things it is that you have learned about yourself, or certain experiences that you've had during the Mercury retrogrades. Like, what revelations and things like that do you experience during these times? And so with that being said, thank you guys for tuning into this video. I will see you in the next video or on my calendar. Have a good one. Bye.
Fire! Wind! Water! Heart! Go Planet!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Captain